is New Day Northwest. Now, here's Margaret Larson.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to New Day Northwest. Today, we're devoting our entire hour to an epidemic claiming more young lives every day. We are talking about suicide. Now, the second leading cause of death among people between the ages of 10 and 24. And according to a new study released by the CDC, the suicide rate among teenage girls reached an all-time high in 2015. The potential causes are as varied as the teenagers' backgrounds. Over the next hour, we'll be joined by friends and relatives who've lost loved ones. We'll learn myths and facts about youth suicide and speak with a panel of teenagers about this very important topic. If you or someone you love is struggling, please know you are not alone. If you need immediate help, please call 911. If you need someone to talk to, please call the hotline number that you see on your screen, and we'll be sharing this number throughout the show. We begin with some frank talk about teen suicide with Dr. Cora Bruner from Seattle Children's and therapist Kristen Rivas. It's good to have you both here. Thanks very much. Cora, let's just start with the statistics about teenage girls. When I read that the rate of suicide for them is at an all-time high, all I could wonder as a mother is why?
Right, that's a wonderful question, Margaret, and I struggle with that so much every day in my practice because I see it more with my patients as well, and in my own daughter. I feel as if the world is so heavy on their shoulders, and for whatever reason, the girls' rate has gone up and doubled is a mystery, and yet it isn't, because we see these girls struggling with so many problems that they have no control over. We see bullying, we see just issues and concerns about the economy, and just self-loathing, and the whole fear of missing out. It's the problem with social networking sometimes, but I also feel like there's hope too. So I'll talk to you about some hope issues at the end.
Let's explore the problem first, and then we'll explore some hope. But Kristen, you're nodding your head. What are you hearing that you agree with and relate to? I'm
acknowledging the fact that while technology has many pros, there have been some cons, including keeping up with the Joneses, social media. People can feel downtrodden or like their life isn't good enough, and it can lead to pseudo connection is what I would call it. Instead of spending more time face to face, having authentic kinds of relationships and friendships with somebody that you know you could call whenever and that they would be there for you. It's more just a false sense of connection by just, I've been seeing somebody's social media profile, so I feel like I know them and we have a relationship.
But it's not the same,
right?
Not even sort of. Your own life experiences brought you to a place of helping others. What can you tell us about what you went through?
Well, in 2005, I lost a sister due to a drunk driver. We were 15 months apart, and she was 19 years old. I was 18 years old at the time. And around the 1-year anniversary of her death, I had a broken engagement with my first love, my high school sweetheart, and it came sudden, unexpectedly. And I hadn't really yet mourned my sister's death. I'd handled it by being extremely busy. And so even though I was a pastor's daughter, I experienced my own suicide attempt, and I'm very lucky that I survived. And that was on Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend in 2006. And I celebrated the 10-year anniversary of that last year. I'm now 30 years old. I've lived to see this age.
And I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. But through that experience and an experience of finding effective treatment to help me with resolving traumatic grief and PTSD around my sister's death, I became a hypnotherapist and have experienced great fulfillment and rewarding joy by helping other people with issues that I struggled with myself.
Does it make a difference to do you share with them that you've been through a similar experience, and does that help in making that connection?
I would say so. I think that people can be comforted by knowing that somebody was on that side of the chair in counseling and therapy, and that you are talking from a personal experience, and it can be a bit more inspiring, I guess, for somebody else to say, hey, I remember what it was like to feel extremely hopeless and to have thoughts that seemed really real, that I would never feel better, that life would never get better.
Right.
I know that dark place.
That this pain is permanent.
Right.
And
to
when you're
have
young,
thoughts-
you don't have any frame of reference for that.
Absolutely. No matter, I remember my parents, family, and friends telling me, hey, things change. But at the time, the thoughts in my head were like, that's not true. You know, and if you don't have a sane person driving at the wheel and you just have thoughts that are hopeless, then this isn't a matter, I would say, of choice, you know, attention. It really is an illness, and it should be taken very seriously.
Let's talk about some of the signs. Did your parents or family have any idea you were thinking about something like this?
They knew that I was experiencing a very traumatic episode of grief from my fiance breaking up with me. What happened was he had that conversation with me on a Friday, and I came home from college and I locked myself in my sister's room, which her belongings had been preserved. It was like a shrine dedicated to her. And for the first time, I took time to really mourn. And so for 3 days, I locked myself in her room and would not allow my parents, my brother, my friends to come in and see me. And I would sneak out in the middle of the night to get a drink of water or use the restroom. And when my parents went to work and my brother went to school, I believe on that Tuesday after the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, is when I attempted. And they had, I think, tried their best, but they thought, oh, she's experiencing heartbreak. I don't think that they put it together because I was usually a positive and chipper person, and it kind of happened really fast, really suddenly. So I think looking back on it, I'm pretty sure that my parents would have wished that somebody had been home with me and that they wouldn't have gone to work that day. But it can be hard.
It can be hard to know what you're looking at,
Right.
you know, with a young person, or if you know them to be, as you said, chipper or whatever, this might look like you just don't immediately think it's as risky as it is. Cora, how do
I'm
we
just
know?
going to hug you. 'Cause-
Oh,
that-
thank you.
Thank you, 'cause I can't reach her, so I appreciate it.
Wow. I'm really glad you're here.
Thank
You
you.
okay?
I'm okay.
Everybody okay?
Everybody okay?
So as a parent, I mean, to me, that's what's so scary is, would I not know? Would I not see? Is there something to see for sure? You know, tell us what we should be doing, what we should be looking for and talking about.
I think that one of the things that we have a tendency, thanks.
We have these
Wow.
Kleenexes for days like this.
Where things happen so fast and we think the head that we have on, it makes sense, but when we go backwards we realize it doesn't. And I have a lot of patients in my practice, and myself included, think, give me some signs that you're okay. And sometimes kids are pretty good at saying, I'm fine, I'll just, but if you hear that spidey sense or the hair on the back of your neck goes, no. I say to my parents and all the providers I teach the medical school, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. If you have any doubt, don't feel like you're being a helicopter person or that you're just overemphasizing things that you have no control over. Pay attention to it. Stay home. Call a therapist. Bring him to the hospital. Just say, I'm going to sit with you. I'm just going to sit here with you. And even if you get mad at me, I'm just going to sit here with you until we get you to feel better or we get you some help. And there's a lot of ways to get help. I think a lot of people feel like, I can't get in to see a therapist, or I can't get in to see my doctor. What am I supposed to do? And again, the 911 call is extremely important. You can get the police to come to your house, and they are fully trained in doing quick assessments. Mental health professionals can come to the house. You can pack your kid up and go to the emergency room. You can call your primary care provider. There are so many ways to get help really quickly, and I think that sometimes parents don't realize that the access is there. That
And don't be afraid. Just do it.
Just do it.
Do
It's
it.
better to err on the side of caution. In fact, the only reason why I'm here today is because my mother felt that spidey sense, or as she attests to, she believes that God told her to come home, and she was trying to wait until her lunch break because she had that feeling, well, maybe I should be home with my daughter today. But she had this voice telling her, it's now or you won't see your daughter ever again.
Wow.
And so under the threat of being fired, she came home, and paramedics said that if she had been there just a few minutes later that I wouldn't be here. So I thanks for telling people to trust their gut instinct. Yeah.
I'm really glad you're here.
Thank you.
That's all I know to say about that. I'm so glad you're here and able to help others. Thank you, Cora. Cora, you're going to stick around. Dr. Bruner took part in a documentary aimed at helping break the stigma around anxiety and other mental health issues that may contribute to teen suicide. Up next, she'll be joined by one of the young subjects of that film. We'll be back and talk more about what we can do about this issue after a quick break.